Hello, hello, everybody. It is Kim Gravel here with the Kim Gravel Show. I am so excited to be live. Am I live? I just want to make sure I'm live, make sure it's rolling. I've got Zeb in the house. I see Zeb is in the house. Love that name. Z-E-B. What a cool name. I just want to make sure I'm live. Amy, text me if I am. If I'm not, we'll just do it again. You never. Oh, yep, here we are. Lauren's here. Lauren Rooney's here. Got two Laurens. Zeb, Lauren, and Lauren. We're off to a good start. 3 people are watching. That is so good to know. I have got probably one of my favorite people of all time. Natalie says, "Woo woo, we are live." Dina, Lauren says, "Hey, Lauren, good name." Ashley, hey girl, hey. Teresa, Amy, my mother is on. She's going to learn all about herself. It's gonna be a shocker. We've got Misty. Oh, I love that name too. Becky. Hey, Christy. Love you, sis. And my very best friend, Amy Goins. Oh, here we go. It is up and rolling. And let me start off by saying I'm Kim Gravel with the Kim Gravel Show. Thank you for tuning in because I was saying earlier, one of my favorite people on the planet is joining me tonight. My hair is so long. Does anybody need a haircut? Just can you raise your hand and say hallelujah? I need a haircut. I need my legs waxed, my chin waxed, my teeth bleached, my brows did. I can handle my bleach on my roots, but I digress. Anyway, my friend who's joining me does not need any of that. Well, I know she probably needs her feet done and her toes done. And she will say she needs a haircut too. But she is one of the most interesting, lovable, unique. I'm trying to think of the right adjectives to use for this friend. Classy, put together, smart as a whip, street and book. She's gorgeous. And she's one of the very first people I ever met in the building at QVC in my on-air training, which that is kind of funny because who can train me with my irreverent self? But she's also like this life coach, business coach person that anytime I'm like having this crisis of confidence in either a decision I'm making or just I need some footing because Amy and I and my husband and my team were also in the weeds. This is somebody I call when I say, okay, girl, shoot me straight. Okay. But she has this amazing, fascinating test she had me take one time and some of my team members that blew my mind. And I want to share it with you tonight. So I've got still people coming on. Lisa, Gina, Liz, hey girl, hey Gina, hey Teresa. Oh, so everybody's knowing everybody. So that's a little party going on. But let me go ahead without further ado and introduce to you my dear, dear friend, Toy Sweeney. Toy, are you there?
Hi! Woo! How are you?
Girl.
Thank you for having me.
You're in the right light, my love.
Nice
Can I just say this tonight and not take everybody off? This is such an ebony and ivory moment, okay?
Oh, I have no idea. Yes, it is.
They have no idea. And I'm not even going to follow up with what I was going to say afterwards, but you know what I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about this today and I thought, well, it's high time that our conversations become
public.
Pulled out into the light.
Let's not bring it all out to the light. That's part 2. Let's just get part 1 tonight. But this is the thing about you, that, you know, there's so many people in life that we both meet because you're in business, I'm in business, we're pro-woman, we support each other, other female business. There's just something about, I think, our connection that's really cool because I don't know, it's kindredship, you know, kinship. It's like kindred spirits almost. Wouldn't you say?
I laugh because I'm like, I'm the brown version of you.
But see, look.
It's kind of freaky. Okay, like we both are 8s on the Enneagram.
We are.
Our birthdays are just a few days apart.
They are.
We're both July babies.
We are.
I don't know. It's like we're the same but different.
Let me go. We both loudmouth.
Well, yeah.
I'll take the. We both are just simply gorgeous. This is the thing. After 40, I just don't encourage my own self. I ain't trying to study all
Listen. Sometimes you have to sing your own theme song, and sometimes you have to write it yourself.
Sometimes you got to write it, orchestrate it, produce it. I say sometimes you just got to toot your own horn, toot. You know, that's just how it goes.
I don't see, and I'm also from the South. I was born in Georgia.
Well, I didn't want to say that out loud.
But I lost my accent. Because when I moved to Pennsylvania, to New Jersey first, they teased it out of me. And they used to call me Country Time Lemonade.
I'm writing that one down. What?
Country Time Lemonade. So my grandma called me from outside.
At least they didn't call you like the generic brand. Country Time's expensive.
Listen, I came out the womb expensive.
You're so bougie.
So I know that we have a show to do, but I have to tell you.
No, we got plenty of time. Many people.
I have to tell you one funny Tucker story from my bougie 10-year-old.
Oh, he's bougie too. We had this conversation this week.
He's so. I said to him, "Hey, bud, I'm sorry that you were in your room all day. I was in my office all day. We didn't get a chance to like really hang out. You were out of my hair. I was out of your hair." I said, then I said, well, honestly, you never are really in my hair. And he says, no, well, that would be hard to do considering you don't have any. I mean,
I have no idea where this kid gets that from. I really don't. Can he be mine?
No, maybe.
You want two more? Because I'm ready to ship them on over, honey.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe he's like, you don't have any hair. I'm like, well, thanks. Duly noted.
I told you your kid is a star, and that's a whole nother conversation. If I ever do another like talent show or show that's training kids, Tucker is my #1 book. I'm not kidding you, because that kid has got it, whatever it is.
He is ready. He is ready. He would be like, Mom, did Disney call today? I'm like, nope, no, bruh. They didn't call. They didn't call.
Honey, he's bigger than Disney, but that's a good start. Anyway, he's got the right parents too. But I want to talk about this thing that really connected you and I from the very beginning, because Toy, you are very business-minded, self-aware. You're very self-aware, which is very rare to find these days. Yeah. Honestly, people who are willing to own their junk and then celebrate their bright spots too. But this thing, what you call how you fascinate.
Yeah. So
what is it?
Okay, so it's an assessment test that was created by Sally Hogshead. Sally is the #1 global marketer in the world, okay? This woman is so completely, my pastor said I can't say badass, so I call her a bad donkey.
Oh, that's worse.
I think so too. She's so badass though. Like when she was 27, she started her own agency, and her first clients were like Nike and like these are big brands. Right. And so through all that, she created this assessment test called How to Fascinate. So it's the only assessment test in the entire world. This is what makes it so exciting, that shows you how the world sees you. So if you've taken Enneagram, if you've taken Gallup, if you've taken all of the like Strength Finders, all of those other
even the little Facebook test that you can take, how your feet are and what that means about anything. Have you seen those tests? I mean,
yeah. I
tell you, I am absolutely fascinated with
I'm obsessed with all of those tests. I just took one that said I was Princess Buttercup from.
Oh yeah, no, I took it too. When you sent it to me, I was. Who was I? This one too.
I don't know if I saw yours. It was like what 80s
movie? Oh, I was Molly Ringwald.
Were you?
Of course you are. Why would I? Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Of course you were.
So it's all those tests, but this is like the Mac Daddy of it.
Oh no, this is the Tesla of tests, because it really is. There isn't any other test that exists that's like it, and the reason that it's so cool is just because you can use this in your personal life, you can use it in your business, you can use it for your kids, you can use it to build your brand, you can just use it to figure out your next stage in life. Like if you're, like, what am I good at? What's my purpose?
What's my purpose?
Yeah, and what's my purpose? And that when I go to the dinner party or to the girls group,
or to the boardroom,
think about me, that one over there.
Yes, because this test tells you how people see you as well.
Yes, and so
let me ask you this.
Okay. Yes.
Why is that important to know? Because in your business, outside of this test that we're going to kind of walk through people through today, and actually I'm going to give people a link they can go and take it for themselves after the show, for themselves to. And it's a very detailed test, and we'll walk through it a little bit. But why is it important for us to know in business, in relationships, in any kind of way that we communicate people? Why is it important to know who we are?
Well, it goes back to exactly what you said, because most of us are not really self-aware. And so sometimes you're not aware of how you're coming off. And so, and as women especially, we struggle with being able to explain how we add value.
Woo, say that again.
We just really struggle when someone says, what are you good at? What are you bringing to the table, right? I remember being single, like in my 20s, and I had friends, one particular friend, he's like, I want to marry this, basketball player. And I remember saying to her, like, well, what are you bringing to the table? Because, when you've reached a certain level in life to get to the NBA and the NFL and all that stuff, that's a certain caliber of person. So it's either their high school sweetheart, like, what are you bringing to the table? Well, every man.
Can we do a little bit more for yourself? I would be like, I don't know if you don't need to get a new goal. That's probably what I said. Can we dream a new dream, or an extra dream?
That was as nice as I could say that. What are you bringing to the table? But just kind of getting ourselves out of that mindset of whatever it is that's holding us back. And so that's why I feel like it's so important, because we really just don't know. And so, so that's what the test is. And so Sally took there are 7 ways in which a person can fascinate. They are innovation through passion, power, prestige, trust, mystique, and alert. So innovation. So through the test, there's a primary personality, and then there's a primary way that you fascinate, and then there's a secondary way that you fascinate. So you kind of put those 2 together. So out of all 7, you have 2 that are at work at the same, at work at all times.
And why are we calling it fascinate, Toy?
Okay, so
very specific.
Because, most people, how do I say this? So
just say it.
No, I'm just trying to choose the word. So most of us, I've had a great opportunity to hear Sally speak, to spend time with her over the summer. We got to spend a couple days in her home, and she just kind of just really poured into us as coaches. And I like the way she talks about it in her book, How to Fascinate. And she talks about how, she did this survey of people, and people were willing to spend 3 times more to be fascinating, right? Because let's be honest.
What does that mean?
Nobody wants to be that boring person at the party.
Well, so many people are boring. So many people are boring. So we're going to tell people how not to be boring tonight. I cannot deal with a boring person. Right. I'd rather you be loud and crass than be boring.
No one wants to be bored. And so what happens is that, we're trying to fight, trying to be like everybody else, you think, but the struggle is that we say we want to be different, but we really want to be like everybody else. Mediocrity is so comfortable.
Run over that, Toy. You're going to bus up, struggle bus, okay? That's a whole other thing. We're going to talk to y'all about struggle bus too. Back that up and say that again.
Look at that. Now, listen, I was on a roll. What did I say? What did I say?
Oh, I don't know. I swear, I tell you, because you talk too fast, I can't keep up. My mind can't keep up.
When I get going.
We'll figure it out. Y'all remind us what she just said.
What did I say? So I was just saying that you have to unlearn boring. And what I was saying is that so many people really say we want to be different. We want to change.
That's it.
Right? We want to change.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that comfort is so comfortable.
And the box that we put ourselves in, or society, or the media, or your friends, or what. And let me tell you something. That's just not for the young. That's happening today with grown adults. And I'm guilty of it too, Toy.
Yeah. And it's just, and so what happens, as you know, and I know we talk about all the time, is that if you don't tackle that thing now, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be, looking back at your life and trying to figure out
what happened.
Why didn't you make a difference? Why were you so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses and the Kardashians that you completely missed your life?
I don't want to talk bad about the Kardashians because I've been binge watching them in the office, and I swear it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up. No, you're totally right, because but everybody, I will say this, Toy, before we move on to the next point, because when I go and speak, and I know you public speak a lot and do a lot of that for businesses and for civic groups, communities, churches, what have you, you're a very strong speaker, and you speak a lot about this identity, this purpose, how to brand yourself. And we're not trying to be slick Willy with the branding. I know what you're talking about, how to present yourself in a way that's going to get you the success that you're looking for in life, right?
Absolutely. But I think that, it's just success in layman's terms. It doesn't mean, it could be anything.
Like what?
Specific to business, right? And so I think that, it's just one of those things where we kind of say that, oh, we want to be different, and we really don't. It's so comfortable to be like anybody else. So that brings us back to, if there's a way for you to say, hey, here are some things that here's a way that you naturally are. This is like, how God made you naturally without you even trying. Here's how you are. And you get a 16-page report that takes you 5 minutes to.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes. And then you get a 16-page report that says, hey, here's how the world sees you. Here are 5 adjectives or whatever to describe you. Here's what you are not so good at. So if you're working, if you are volunteering in your church, or you're putting on an event, or, if you're snack mom at school, if you're deciding, hey, I might want to start a business, here is some.
Does this help you with relationships, Toy?
Yes. So yes, because it kind of tells you even, and I love relationships, because relationships are hard, whether we're talking about with your siblings or your parents. Right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Talk about struggle bus.
Yeah, and it shows you why you two tend to get on the struggle bus together or sometimes apart. So let me step back for a second. And so in the Fascination Advantage is what we're talking about. It's the book is called How the World Sees You. And it's howtofascinate.com. I see a few people asking. But so here we go. If you have a primary and you have a secondary. So those two together is what gives you the archetype. And so innovation is the language of creativity. I'm going to go through this quick. Passion is the language of relationships. Power is the language of confidence. This is all about the language that you naturally speak. Prestige is the language of excellence. My primary is prestige. Trust is the language of stability. What's up, Amy? Mystique is the language of listening. And alert is the language of detail. Okay. So, Kim, your primary is innovative and your secondary is power.
And I'm showing a parts of my test. So, guys, you will see when you take this test, you will see portions of what is going to come to you. This is the 5th page telling me who I am. And can I say, Toy?
Yeah.
When I talked to you about this, it was dead on. So we're just going to use me as an example, okay?
Yeah.
Tonight. So you said my first one is?
Yeah, so your first one is innovation. Innovation is the language of creativity. And so you really don't like when things are the same. You are a creative problem solver. And so the reason that is so awesome, especially with what you're doing, is because you really capture, you're quick-witted, you kind of crave just for things to not be normal all the time. You're driven by...
I can't be normal, Toy. And there's a lot of power people a lot of innovators out there that's listening tonight that can feel my pain on that one.
Yeah, and so I think that you just can't do it. It's naturally who you are
Yes.
without you even having to try. That's just like that is what God naturally poured into you at this stage in your life. You are an innovator. So
Okay.
your secondary is power.
Okay.
Power is the language of confidence. And there isn't a person on this earth that doesn't know that Kim Gravel is confidence. You are a natural leader. You make decisions really fast. You know what you want. You know when you want it. And you know how to get there. You know how to make things happen. And my favorite thing about power personalities like you are that you do it so unapologetically.
Okay.
So unapologetic, like you just do it, and it's not offensive. It's just really so for you. You're taking that creativity, and you're taking that power, and you merge them together, and that is Kim Gravel in a nutshell with how you naturally communicate without trying.
Well, and I think it's helping to see too. What I love about this test is it's not just telling you all the great things about yourself either.
Oh no.
It's really challenging you quite in good ways too. But let's stay with the good for a minute. So this is like that first page that tells you the highest and best value.
Yes.
Talk about the word value, because I want to take a minute here. For my whole entire life, I have been a confidence coach, a coach of pageants, a coach of, even getting kids into interviews in college. I've done a lot of coaching. And I think and even I'm gonna tell a quick story on my friend Amy here. When we started being friends, she's a brilliant person. She's taken this test too. I'm not gonna throw her under the bus, but I will tell you about this time where she did not know her value.
Yeah.
She was at her job, and she was like an administrative assistant to the controller of the company, that person who is the person that keeps it all together. Long story short, her boss came, and I told her, her boss left, and I said, the CEO and the president is coming to you, and they're going to offer you this job. She says, there's no way. I said, there's way, because I know you, and I know if they're smart, they seem to be, they're going to offer you the job. And she went in, was going to take a huge, it was a pay increase for her, but a huge pay decrease for what the position was. And I said, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And so long story short, she went in, she scared, knees knocking, shaking in her boots towards she fought for her worth. She couldn't even verbalize it. She just wrote it down on a piece of paper and put it across and says, I feel more comfortable with this number, which was a really scary thing to do. But how important is knowing your highest and best value, like you see here on my sheet?
Well, I think that you just explained why, one of the many reasons why it's so important. Because like I said earlier, women, we just don't really know how to communicate it. So this test, you don't have to worry about communicating it, because this is a communication tool. So what I've done when I worked in corporate America, what you can do with this, what anybody can do, is just literally, it is created for you to pull things off of it verbatim. It takes the work out of it for you. So when you look at your test, it tells you you are the maverick leader. So that's your archetype, right? So that's kind of like when you think about, and I won't get into this, but in my new book, I'm writing a whole section on these kind of alter egos, right? So you think about Beyonce, and when she goes on stage, she becomes Sasha Fierce. When you're in these big meetings and you are pitching lines and you're talking about TV shows and you're doing all the things that you do, that's when you are the maverick leader. You're leading with innovation and you're leading with power, and everyone's mesmerized by you. Why? Because you're operating in your highest value. So that highest value block is what is happening in the meeting of what you're giving them, right? It's like why they need to pay you the money. And then you say, so the part that says how the world sees you, that is what everybody is thinking about you when you're in the room.
Stop. How many times are you sitting somewhere? And this is not just for business, y'all. I got to take, because I'm getting cold chills. So when I get the goosebumps, I got to tell you why. This can also happen if you are out there dating, if you are in a relationship and you're having struggles in your marriage or your relationship. This kind of information how the world sees you, how your partner's seeing you, how your boss is seeing you, how your employees are seeing you is so important.
Yes.
That's what, to me, Toy, I want you to talk about. Why is it important? Because we all think, what do they think of me? Are they mad at me? I mean, how many times have you done all of that?
Oh yeah, but if you already know, right? If this is coming out and I don't have my old glasses, I can't read what yours says.
Well, I'll read for you. It says the world sees me, I lead with bold and unconventional vision, which is sounds pretty, but we ain't got to the negatives yet, y'all. You're unafraid to take the lead and happy to propose a new direction. You're always full of new ideas and almost a little restless. I'd say a lot restless. If something starts to feel familiar, you'll probably start experimenting to see whether higher goals can be achieved. That's for sure.
Right.
But go down there and say, what's not the highest, best value of a maverick leader?
Right. So you have your primary, your secondary, and then you have a dormant. Dormant is when
I'm pulling up that slide.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Before we go to
let's stay here. I just want to let them
okay.
Right. And so the dormant is when
hold on. What's the name of your book? Somebody just asked.
My current book is Secrets of a Well-Dressed Brand.
Okay, so we're going to get to that at the end. I'll give you all the information on Toy. Okay, sorry, Toy, go.
So you have we talked about, so you have this snippet. Let me go back a second. That says, here's how the world sees you. So when you are in that office room or you're on a date for the first time or you're hanging out with your girlfriends, this is what everybody is taking in. That's just naturally when you're sitting there telling stories and doing all the things. That's how everybody is seeing you, from the waiter to your boss, everybody, right? And then what are you bringing to the table? That's your highest value right there. So it's like that section of how the world sees you is what, right? That's your what. And then your why. Your why is how you're adding value. Okay. That's like the whole reason that you're born is this is what you're putting out into the world. This is how you show up with a servant heart. These are all the things that you, Kim Gravel, do that makes all of these people love you so much, because you're constantly adding value to them. And so in order
everybody has that potential, correct?
It's not even potential. They have it, period.
All right, girl.
And it's not. I mean, like,
I love when you say that.
When you start talking about even that, and when you start almost thinking like that, well, I don't know, no, that's a limiting belief. You are adding value. The world is seeing you in a different way. Now, the cool thing about this that I love is that as you move in career or relationships in different stages of your life, it is very possible that this may change. Mm-hmm. I had a mentee that took it when she was in like a very low level job, not making a lot of money, and she was very unhappy. Then I said, 1 year from today, I promise you, you will be working for yourself. Your income's going to be double. 1 year to the day, she called me and sent me a screenshot of her calendar of when I said that. She took the test again and scored completely different, because now she's a founder of a company. So she was exuding more power and more innovation. So it changes. Yeah.
So this is just a stepping off point of where you are now, but it's so important to know that, right, Toy?
Yes. And, I just think that so many times, just like you, I meet women who struggle with their confidence. They don't know who they are. They don't know what their purpose is. Why was I born? And you go through this merry-go-round. Get off of that struggle bus. What? Get off. Stop. Just stop.
Have you ever been like in a struggle situation, Toy? And it's like you're sitting there. It's like it's a scripture in the Bible where I think it was Paul. It says, "Why do I do the things I know I'm not supposed to do, and don't do the things I know to do?" I do that. Why not just do it, Kim? I mean, I have this internal argument with myself.
Oh yeah.
Something as simple as emptying the dishwasher. I'm saying, I will not empty the dishwasher. I mean, it's like I'm schizo.
Oh yeah, just do it.
That is what we're talking about, the struggle bus, right?
Absolutely. Well, the struggle bus too is just like, what happens when you sit on a bus, right? Remember school days, you're looking out the window. What is everybody else doing? Carrying yourself, looking back. Oh, what's Sally and them got going on? Oh, there's Lauren and them. What they doing? Instead of you looking ahead to see where you're going and focusing on what you need to be doing.
Right. And even as moms and all that, even as wives, moms, caretakers, we still have to really put ourselves first, because if we don't, everybody else will suffer.
You can't pour from an empty vessel.
Okay. All right, we're moving on after that. And that's a hashtag. TikTok, Twitter, FaceTime, Instagram, MySpace, whatever they got. Just put it out there.
So we have your primary, your secondary. That's what we cover, and then from there you also have a dormant advantage. Your dormant is when you get into the quicksand. That's when you get on the struggle bus and you're like, I don't want to do this. I'm not really good at this, and that's okay.
I'm gonna put my dormant up so you can tell everybody about.
It's just when you kind of go, oh, it's that thing that you just honestly you're not naturally good at. It doesn't mean that you can't work at it. It just may require a little bit more focus. And what we're talking about, the whole entire purpose, the whole thing of the Fascinating Advantage is it really is about intense focus on the things that you're naturally good at. And so
this is one of the reasons I love you to pieces. Okay, this is one of my favorite things about you on the planet. You and I are lockstep about focusing on what we're good at, leaving alone what we're not good at. And of course, we have to work on our weaknesses, but I think sometimes we get hung up on the weaknesses in our lives, or the crappy circumstances, or our past.
Yeah.
Is that what this is saying in this test?
Yes. And so I gave an example to you about alert being your dormant. So alert is the language of details, and it doesn't mean that you're not detail oriented. So if you are out there and you take the test and you don't look at the words at face value. Okay. So alert is really for that person who just really, really, really wants things to be orderly and perfect, and they like to get in the weeds a little bit. It's an exceptional advantage to have, but it just happens to be your dormant. So if I said to you, Kim, I want you to sit down, I want you to do this Excel spreadsheet, I want you to sort all these M&Ms by color. I want you to tell me how many times each gram of sugar is the M straight or crooked, and I want you to do this for hours on end every day for 7 days a week.
Well, first of all, we'd never get to it because I'd eat all the M&Ms, so you'd have to give me something else, like beans or something. Those M&Ms would be gone. Girl, yellow tastes good. The brown is even better. That would torture me. I love details being done.
Yes.
My BFF who's watching right now, for me to sit and work Excel spreadsheet, I mean, it happened this week, right hand to God. I sat there and I had to do this Excel spreadsheet for my manufacturer. And it was I was like, I hate this. I hate it. I mean, it was I turned into this evil person that and when I read this, and when you and I went over this week, just with our little 1 hour phone conversations we have every week, you were like, well, yeah, because you hate that. That's not what you're good at. That's your dormant. I'm like, okay.
No, because you're out there creating the world. You're solving problems. You're helping people. You are out there being fascinating. So then to take something that you are already exceptional at and then close it up and shut it away and put the lid on it, that's not your jam. Now, if for some people who are accountants or people that work in a bank, they tend to have a lot of trust in alert because they want to sit there. They love numbers. They want to sit there. They love spreadsheets. For some people, that is completely their jam.
That's how God made them. So I'm going to do a test. Just do you, boo. That's going to be my thing. You and I are going to do a test. Do you, boo. So is the dormant, tell me how important it is to know the dormant as much as it is your strength. I think it's very important.
No, it's very important because, I share a story. I think I don't know if I shared it in my book, but I know I talk about it on a couple podcasts, you know, that I was working in a situation where, like you, I was in my wellspring. I was having the best time of my life in my job. I was loving life. And all of a sudden there was a change in the department and it changed my job. So it took me from doing something that was very creative that I loved and that I was really good at, because my let's see, I'm in prestige and oh my God, my brain just went. I'll get back to that. So I'm the connoisseur. So I am I'm prestige and passion, excuse me. So, you know, I'm in my wellspring rocking that out. And then my dormant is mystique. You get thrown into a situation where it's all details and I have to listen way more than I want to. And I talk a lot. And so, yes, it's good for me to know. But the reason that it was good for me to know that, and the reason it's good for you to know that, is so that you can, again, going back to, this is a communication tool, so that you can stand there and type that email or verbalize in a meeting to your partner, to your boss, to whomever, hey, this is not working for me. I'm a little bit in some quicksand here. And here's why. Because I, using you as an example, am a creative problem solver. You give me a goal, you know I'm going to nail it. But for me to sit here and do this spreadsheet, AKA what we not gonna do, what we're not gonna do. That's what you and I call it behind closed doors. Is what we're not gonna do. Is sit back here
That sounds like a few of my early high school dating boys. What we not gonna do is you ain't gonna put your hand there.
Right there, bro. Keep it moving.
Okay, weird. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And so so I think that, you know, that is really, really, you know, kind of what it's all about.
Right.
And it really is fascinating. And so when you, pun intended, when you know how the world sees you and you know all these things that makes you fascinating, then you can, you know, even for some people now that we're all home and you're getting on social media for the first time, all of that is filtered through how you fascinate.
Well, this is why I wanted to do this tonight, because I want people who are able to take this test and figure out who and why they're here, how people see them, because it's so important. Because this to me is a time of opportunity. We'll get to that at the end. Someone, Lauren said something good that I want you to address. She said, I think a lot of us struggle with, are we good enough? Mm-hmm. Speak to why this test can make sense out of that question.
So here's the thing. The only time that you struggle, we struggle, I struggle with, am I good enough, right, is when we're comparing ourselves to other people. And we go so far down the comparison trail. I mean, we compare our looks, our body, our go down the list. We compare our chapter 10, you know, to her chapter 30. She's been doing it 20 years. You've been doing it 2 months and you expect to be where she is. Stop. And so take a deep breath and understand that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The mere fact that you were born, like, do you know, if you research like what it actually takes, right, for us to come through the birth canal and be here, you are already enough. So start there. And then you go, okay, here are the things that I'm good at. Here are the things that I'm not so good at. And within that, here are the things that I'm passionate about. Here are the things that I'm curious enough. Boom. Here's what I'm going to do. And oh, now I got a way to be fascinating when I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah, the language
to me, that's why this test is different. It's more than a personality test. To me, it's a purpose test. So honestly, Toy, and when you and I speak, we do it all the time. I ask this question: how many of you know that we were all born with purpose? And every single hand goes up. I don't care if it's 50 people or 10,000 people, every hand goes up. And then the next question immediately afterwards, I say, and do you know what that purpose is? And maybe 1 or 2 people raise their hand and they lying. So Because when I ask, it's to help people. No, that's not your purpose. We all supposed to help people no matter what it is. That's just who we all are. Moms. If we're moms, that's one of our main purposes in life. But what I'm talking about is what this test and you giving me this test and facilitating this for me helped me to realize is that there are some specific things.
Yes.
And ways we are to communicate and operate in our purpose.
Yes.
And will this test help that?
Yes, because I think that, especially when you look at how the world sees you, it's going to be different for everyone.
Everybody.
But here's the kicker of it is that when you look at the 7, right, you and someone else can be the same archetype. There can be, another maverick leader. And then you look at the 3rd, when you look at the pie chart, there's a section of the test where it's there's the 3rd thing. And then that's where you guys start to be a little bit different, and so there just really isn't anything like this.
There's not, it's endless possibilities and it's endless information. Okay, let's go ahead. You were going to say something because I want to pull up another slide because I want you to talk about it. This one is the primary advantage. When it's talking about who you are, how you add value, examples of leaders who use innovation. Like for me, people, I don't know if you can read it. It's Madonna, Albert Einstein, Amelia Earhart, Betty White. Girl, I knew I was going to live long and thrive. So Betty White operates out of innovation.
Yeah, I love that. And so, and also Amelia Earhart is a July birthday, July 24th, just saying.
The fact that you know that is why you are.
I'm a nerd.
I didn't want to say it.
That's okay.
You're smart. You're one of the smartest. You're smart as a whip. Highly intelligent. Okay, go ahead. I digress.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you more.
So this is what we were talking about again, going back to that primary advantage. It breaks that down for you. You have your pie chart that shows you like where you fare with the rest of the world, and all of that. But I love this part. Who am I? It says, hey, you are creative, you're a visionary, and you're entrepreneurial. That is who Kim Gravel is. Like that's that is it. So then the next question is, how do I add value? And then guess what? It tells you. And then you say exactly what you said. Who else is like me in the world? And then it tells you all of these exceptional people that it's okay for you to model to be like that. When you think about Betty White and the career that she had, when you think about how encouraging and inspiring Amelia Earhart was with her story.
You know what, Toy? But it shows that we're, yes, unique, but we're not alone. I think that's what scares us, is that we want to be unique, we want to be special, we know that innately, but we don't want to be alone in it.
So I think that, again, I think people say they want to be unique, but they really don't because it's so comfortable to compare and try to look like something else. So
we can't do that, though, boy.
This is why I say this is not for everybody. If you want to be like everybody else, use a Lisa Robertson word. If you want to be a one-trick pony, then knock yourself out and you can go. My prestige is coming out.
You ain't trying to be all that. Get off the struggle bus, honey.
Prestige is a language of excellence. It's my primary advantage.
I love it.
So if you're not going to be excellent, if you really just want to be like everybody else and you don't want to change, then go ahead and be like everyone else that you see on Instagram with those silly Smokey the Bear hats and jeans that barely fit and just the same. It's the same. No, God has called you to be so much more than that. You're just so, when he was knit, this is what gets me excited about the Fascination Test too, is like when God was knitting you together in your mother's womb and he was pouring that innovation, and that power into Kim Gravel, he already knew what you were going to be.
Right.
And so that's what it is. You weren't even, you were born to stand out. And so what happens over time is that we start being like, oh, I want to be like her. I want my hair like that. I want this. I want that. And that's kind of stuff is okay. I mean, all of us,
yeah, that's cool.
Some version of somebody's haircut, I mean, like
you're talking more from like a purpose point of view.
Yes, it's like, come on. It is high time. It's high time that if you don't stand up today and decide what you're going to stand for, you're going to spend the rest of your life falling for anything.
Okay.
So anyway, I didn't mean to get on.
I love it when you start preaching.
I just think that, that's what it is. So it talks about who you are, it talks about how you add value, and it gives you the words. So if college kids who are, going to be graduating and they got to work on their resume, you can pull things off of this. You can pull things off of this for your social media. You can pull things off of this, like all, for any facet of your life.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, like my husband took it too. Of course, he's part of our company, but he's also married to me, which that is the struggle bus within itself. But he's quite struggling as well because he is power and he is prestige too. And he gets on my last nerve because, and I'll say this, and I'll tell you this quarantine toy, and you might have had it. I mean, I'm locked up with 3 men. And my husband he's prestige. He likes excellence and all this. I'm like, look, get her done. Get it done. And he's just like, oh my gosh, we didn't dot the I and cross the T. I'm like, I'm going to lose it. Honestly, I'm like, if I have to, and he's such a routine person too. So this has helped our relationship. Well, it's helped us fight more about our relationship so that we can get there.
Well, what I love about you and Travis, so Travis is the maestro. He is his primary is power, like you said, and then the prestige. And prestige is the language of excellence, and power is the language of confidence. So you guys come together on just that confidence of like, yes, we can certainly do this. It's amazing. It's awesome. And then you come in and you have these ideas, right? And you're like, we're going to solve this problem. We have all these ideas. This is you. And then he's over here with that prestige. And you're like, here's the idea. And then Travis steps in and goes, I think we could do this though. And then you go, okay, but let's try that.
But when he says we, he means
he means you. And he's like, so prestige is the rising tide that raises the ship. We are always going to push you to be better and better and better because it is all about excellence. And that's what we look at.
Well, and we need it. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about this, which I think is one of the most important parts of the test. And that is what we call your anthem, your mission statement, your mantra, I always say, what's the hook going to be? What is an anthem?
So your anthem is kind of like exactly what you said, right? It's your mission statement for you as a person. It's your creed. It's what you live by. It's your personal battle cry.
Okay.
So with you leading with innovation and power, then your anthem could be something like, leading women in a creative way to find their inner passion, or inner power, or, creatively power, you can play on those words. There's a whole worksheet that you do get with the test to work that out. But you can say something like that, empowering women to find their own power.
Right.
Not be like anybody else. You can say something like that could be your anthem. That's your purpose. It's the creed in which you live by. That is kind of what it is.
So look, we've got to wrap up because we're already 48 minutes in. This is not enough. I'm going to make a little suggestion here. When we wrap this up, I'm going to post the link to people on how they can take the test and all of your information. Toy does this for businesses, for groups, but can I say this, Toy? Would you, if the people on here watching took the test,
yes,
we do a private workshop with you, with all the people that taken the test through the link after this, and just kind of go through it? Would you be open to that? And would anybody watching be interested? I know I would. We could do it through, Toys. I'll help you promote it through your website or your thing, or we can do it right here, wherever. Would you be open to do that? Like holding a workshop so we can go through people's tests and kind of tell them who and what they are and how they.
Oh, I would love that.
Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. So after the show, guys, I'm going to put a link and all the information to Toy in the body of this this post, and let you know how to get in touch with Toy and how to take the test. And then let's do it, Toy, because I think this is what we are both about, is having people, on their right path and their God-given path that God gave them.
Absolutely.
Oh, everybody's saying yes, yes. Oh my God, yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to do that. We're going to wrap up tonight. The test, I'm going to post the link as soon as we hang up or whatever. Hang up. God, show my so Molly Ringwald. I'm going to hang as soon as I download, as soon as I stop streaming. Yeah, as soon as I stop streaming, I'm going to
no longer live.
Go follow Toy on her Facebook, you see here, and her website, and all her social media on Instagram. I'm streaming it there. I'll post all that information above. Toy, I love you with everything I've got. Look, everybody's saying yes, absolutely. I would for sure. Yes, we're doing it.
It's done.
It's done.
See, that's the power in you.
Must
Really decisive.
Oh, that was so innovative.
It was very innovative.
And you're so prestigious. You're going to make it excellent. None of the details.
No, it's like,
hey, we'll ask Amy to do that.
I was like, well,
yep, Amy, call us.
Passion and prestige over here. I love the people, and I'll make it excellent, but I am not getting in the weeds.
Dingy and bold. That's who we are. All right, girl, I love you so much.
I love you.
You know I'll call you tomorrow.
Thank you guys so much. Kim, thank you so much for having me. I'm super grateful to you for this opportunity. I love you, and just thank you so much for being who you are.
Okay, well, let's do the follow-up workshop. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, I love that woman so much. So after this, I promise to post all the information above. You've got to do it. It's amazing what you can find out about yourself. It's like this 14, 15-page dossier of who you are, and it's really been helpful to me, and I hope it will be helpful to you. Just a couple of things before we go. To Friday, we are doing the Kim Gravel Show at 3 p.m. live with the fashion show. With some of the new stuff and some sales stuff that we've got going on. Don't want to miss that. So if you're interested in fashion, we have the Kim Gravel Show doing a live Belle by Kim Gravel fashion show at 3 p.m. on Friday. Also, follow us on all our social media. We're posting all this on YouTube too. We just have so much going on. Stay safe, stay blessed during this time. This too shall pass. I know this in my spirit. I was in my quiet time the other day, and I just heard the Lord say to me, that this is such a powerful time of opportunity to see a new, fresh way of living your life. Because how you fascinate and how people see you in this world is so important. And I say this to young girls all that. It's so important to find out who you are and why you're here so early. And that's my goal in life, is to see people really walk in their ultimate purpose and call in their life. In any way I can get information out there for you to be able to do that, because God did make you special. I always say this all the time, God don't make no junk. He don't make junk. You go through crappy circumstances. We have tough times. Some of us are struggling financially. Some of us are struggling with our health, mental health, just getting by day. But I know this, the struggle is going to make you stronger, bigger, badder, bolder, and full of more purpose. And remember, always remember that you are absolutely, specially, fearfully, and wonderfully made, as Toy said earlier. And I always want you to believe in your own beauty. Good night.